Hello, everyone. Keanu Reeves is without a doubt an iconic figure in modern cinema. His name is associated with hugely popular franchises like The Matrix and John Wick, as well as movies like Constantine, Speed, and many others. Now in his 50s, Reeves is at the peak of his fame. Studios line up to cast him in their films, and his fees continue to skyrocket with each new role. It may seem like he has a perfect life, but behind the dazzling success lies a deeply tragic personal story. This is a man who has everything, yet who has endured pain no one would wish on their worst enemy. Despite it all, Keanu hasn't become bitter or cynical. Instead, he has faced every challenge with dignity and resilience. So today, let's look beyond the fame and fortune and discover the true story behind one of Hollywood's brightest stars, one that, despite all the hardship, might just have a happy ending. Let's go. By the way, what's your favorite Keanu Reeves movie? Personally, I'd pick Constantine. Share yours in the comments. Keanu Reeves didn't have a golden childhood. He wasn't born into wealth or privilege, not even in a wealthy country. He was born in Beirut in 1964. His first life drama came when he was just a little boy. When Keanu was only a few years old, some sources say around 3, though his father claimed 5, his dad left the family, abandoning his wife and children. This event shocked Keanu so deeply that he hasn't spoken to his father since, despite having one chance to reconnect. "I spent my last vacation with my father when I was 13, Reeves said in a 2002 interview. "On our last day, we sat on the porch and looked into the night. He hardly said a word. The next day, he dropped us off at the airport, and then we didn't hear from him for 10 years. Unfortunately, that was only the first in a long series of personal tragedies. Keanu and his mother moved frequently, with stops in Australia and then Toronto, where he switched schools many times. Interestingly, like Tom Cruise, Reeves struggled with dyslexia, a learning disorder that made reading and writing difficult, yet he kept pursuing his goal. By the mid-1980s, he started landing film roles, and by the early 1990s, he was already making a name for himself. But then came another devastating blow. On October 31st, 1993, actor River Phoenix, Reeves' close friend, whom he met on a film set, died of a drug overdose outside a nightclub in Los Angeles. River was only 23. Reeves later recalled how deeply he was affected, describing River as the younger brother he never had. Throughout the 1990s, Keanu continued to rise to stardom, and when The Matrix premiered in 1999, he became a global superstar. Yet professional success was often paired with personal loss. In the late 90s, Keanu began dating actress Jennifer Syme. In early 2000, they were expecting a baby girl, but tragically, the child was stillborn just weeks before her due date. Their relationship soon deteriorated, and they broke up. However, they remained friends. Then barely a year later, in 2001, Jennifer herself died in a car accident. Keanu buried her next to the grave of their daughter. He later described it as one of the most difficult periods of his life. Professionally, everything seemed perfect. Blockbusters, critical acclaim, huge earnings. But in his personal life, grief followed him everywhere. Remarkably, Keanu never fell into alcohol or drugs. Despite his painful losses and a grueling schedule, he stayed grounded and humane. And we haven't even mentioned yet that in the early 1990s, Keanu's sister Kim was diagnosed with leukemia. For more than 10 years, she fought the disease, and Keanu was always there for her. Thankfully, in the early 2000s, she went into remission. But in 2015, the cancer returned, and she's once again undergoing treatment. Needless to say, this situation continues to weigh heavily on him. But Keanu isn't the kind of person who thinks only of himself. He didn't let fame or wealth separate him from others. In fact, multiple reports have claimed that Reeves donated 70% of his Matrix earnings to cancer research. Whether that number is exact or not, what is certain is that he has repeatedly made large anonymous donations to charity. Later, he even founded his own private foundation to support children's hospitals and cancer research, but did so quietly, without publicity. "I have a private foundation that's been running for 5 or 6 years," he once said. "It helps a couple of children's hospitals and cancer research. I don't like to attach my name to it. I just let the foundation do what it does." This is a rare example of someone doing good simply because it's the right thing, not for attention or praise. Compare that with, say, certain politicians, and it's like two different worlds. So why does the world love Keanu Reeves so much? It's simple. Despite making millions, he remains a down-to-earth, kind person. He doesn't flaunt his wealth or buy extravagant things. He owns a house in the Hollywood Hills worth $4 million. But it's far from being a mansion. Instead, Reeves spends his money feeding and even helping to treat entire film crews. He's been seen riding the subway, waiting in line in the rain to enter a club, and once sat down on the sidewalk with a homeless man to share food and conversation. He's even used his own money to help finance risky film projects, just to make sure the crew could keep their jobs and the movie could get made. Some reports claim he's invested over $100 million this way. Though we can't confirm that exact figure, it certainly speaks to his character. And all of this while continuing to act in several films a year, with a schedule packed down to the hour. No wonder people admire him so much.